Welcome to episode 349 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name is John, and I am joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games. We've recently picked up games we're currently playing, and we don't care if we never get back in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
I like the Let's Play Ball, that one. Yeah, you want to do that one more time?
Does he actually say that in the game? I don't remember.
No, he doesn't, but I like it. He should do it. Yeah. So we played some Mario Baseball on the GameCube this week. But Ryan, what else are we talking about?
So this week, 3 Strikes and Anthem's out of here. Next up, it's your old game cards, and they're gone. And rounding the base to home is Mario Superstars Baseball in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
We should do that more often.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get better at like tying all kind of a theme together through the what's going on this week.
I can't do that for social media, but you can find us at Game Deflators on X, at the Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Taking it home to YouTube, I guess. You can find us on there. Go ahead and hit the little bell so you know we're on, so you can watch our crappy gameplay, as well as any prior videos that we have released, any unboxings. I have to do one or two. Actually, I haven't done them in a while. What else? We're a podcast. Go listen to us on your favorite podcast application. If you're listening to us right now, thank you very much. Leave us a 5-star review. And did I mention our website yet? I probably did, but just in case, thegamedeflators.com.
Nice.
All right, we got it. Yeah. All right, so pickups. I got nothing, actually. I'm looking around, and normally I would have like some video game kind of chilling out here. Nothing. I'm honestly surprised that I have nothing this week. So that's about it. I just realized I have a unicorn over here. That's kind of random. I just realized that's there. Yeah, it's my wife's. I don't know why it's chilling and watching. It's staring at me. If you're watching our YouTube, you can check that out. So as far as what I'm currently playing, though, my wife and I completed Shadow of a Tomb Raider. I need to go into YouTube and make the playlist on there of all the game completion. But good game. It was actually pretty cool. There was this one scene that I'm so pissed because while playing it, I tried to do a screen cap, but I accidentally hit the like pause button on it. So in the middle of a recording, it pauses in the middle of this like great scene. But it's badass. Like everything's blowing up around you, and Laura just like gets out of the water, and it has like this crazy like Last of Us almost like music where Ellie's like about to go on a rampage, except it's Laura, and her body just like comes out of the water with like flames all behind her. It's just like her shadow. And then she goes and starts like stabbing people. It's great. It was such a cool scene. So there's that. And there's another cool scene that in the game where you're like hanging on and there's like helicopters spinning around. And there's explosions and you're like actively trying to grapple on this wall and move across as it's crumbling. So it's a pretty cool scene too. But so that's all in the YouTube videos. But the game itself was pretty good. I mean, I would say out of the 3 games, this was probably my lowest tiered out of the 3. I did enjoy the other ones a little bit more as far as I can recall. In fact, I think it was the first one, in my opinion, was the best one. But this one wasn't bad. I mean, it went through this concept of just, I guess, spoiler alerts for people like super short to the point on this game is you're obviously raiding a tomb and you're trying to get past this group of Trinity and what they've got going on. And they're trying to, do what they're doing in the world to destroy it or make it over. But you find his dagger and you're told, don't take the dagger. It's going to be the end of days. Well, you take the dagger anyways, and a giant flood happens, wipes out an entire town. So from there, you're trying to figure out, well, how the hell do we stop the world from ending now that we've started it from ending? And the idea is you got to find, this like silver box in a hidden village. Where it starts getting weird for me when it comes to things like Tomb Raider is I know it's a video game and you have this in like Uncharted and stuff as well. But you're in like a South American country and there's a village that's hidden that nobody knows about apparently. And it's in a valley and nobody's like seen this. Like, what is this, Jurassic Park? And there's just like dinosaurs and we don't know they exist. Like, it's just the weirdest thing. Yeah, like I just don't get that sometimes in video games. Like you have this realism of Tomb Raider to some extent. And then you end up in situations like that where like, that's not even possible. Like, how is this a hidden village that like people don't know about? I don't know.
I mean, there's stuff like that too, and just that genre in general. I mean, that's a very like Indiana Jones, Uncharted, kind of thing where in those realities, things are a little more grounded than in like a fantasy game, but there's still some mystery in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's just I don't know. To me, sometimes it's kind of weird, right? Like I would almost want it to be a little more realistic in that sense. Or there was a scene where we're in this like cave or something, and or in this one scene, and everything goes down, and then this like prince that you have is he's supposed to be like very far away, and you finish what you're supposed to be doing, and he just waddles on out. I'm like, where did you come from? Like, how you're not even like supposed to be remotely close to like were you following me the whole time? Like, how did you just happen to be here like after this whole scene concluded and I had to go find you and now you're here? Like that's stuff like that to me is kind of weird. Like I get not wanting to backtrack and you want to progress the story, but at the same time, like, come on, let's add a little bit more realism to the fact that that wouldn't have traditionally happened in any sort of setting.
Mhm.
So I don't know, but yeah, so we go through, we find this hidden village. There's this like civilization that is, you know, tied to the gods, and these people are all jacked up with crazy masks and like almost mutant like that live underground in this hidden village area. And yeah, you're trying to at the same time this like um leader that's part of the Trinity is trying to become like a god essentially and rewrite the world. And so he takes what he needs to do this, and Laura stops him. And I know I'm doing a really shitty job explaining it, but like, you know, it's you stop him, you end all of the end of days things from happening,
Watch the videos.
and it concludes. Yeah, watch the videos, but it that kind of tells you like how engaged I was to it, the story to an extent. Like the story itself was not the best. Very much end of days, hidden village, a bunch of tasks to do what you need to do. End game. We have to get to the end boss, and like here's what's happening. It's just very cut and dry. Whereas
Yeah.
I feel the other games had a little more to them, a little more depth. So yeah, that's my crappy explanation, but 8 out of 10. So
Nice.
the other game was still playing is Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night, I got to be giant. I don't know what his name is. He's like this giant green god that shoots lightning and has a giant scepter that also shoots lightning. And I was like, how the hell do you beat this guy? Like, it's impossible. Apparently, there's an item that like sucks up his lightning energy so you're resistant. And so, cool. I got to go find that now. But I'm still in Reverse Castle, still exploring, still having fun. I will have that game beat. Now that
Galamoth.
yeah, there you go. That's the guy I'm playing. Did you type in like green giant guy with lightning Symphony of the Night?
I put Lightning God Symphony of the Night.
Oh, well, there you go. That works too. So
Yeah, I never
yeah,
fought that dude.
he's an optional boss apparently. So I don't have to do it, but yeah, we'll see.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well while I'm playing it. So I would anticipate that I will complete the game. I would think by end of month. I don't see me taking that much longer on this one, and it's more so I just haven't had time to jump into it. And King of the Hill has also taken a priority sometimes at night, so there's that too. So
I almost texted you yesterday. Like I know that you're just going in chronological order,
mhm.
but there's a really good episode for 4th of July, but it's like way out in season 11. So it's got
Honestly,
like
yeah, honestly, I've probably seen it. Like for example, I don't know if anybody hasn't watched King of the Hill. I'm sorry, but like I know Cotton dies like later on in the
yeah.
series, and I know that um you know he pretty much tells Hank like you're a shitty son or whatever, like you know you're the worst, and Peggy lies and says no, he said he loves you. And then they put a tribute to like a Chinese manufactured shed or something, but Dale blows it up for Cotton, and like that's his tribute
Mhm.
to Cotton. So like I've seen episodes like that periodically through the years. So like a lot of the older or newer episodes were like Joseph is full blown mustache and you know deeper voice and all that.
Lucky.
Bobby, huh?
Lucky is
Lucky,
around.
yeah, Lucky's around. I remember Lucky, um, Bobby and Connie dating and stuff like. I've seen a lot of those episodes, but they haven't been in a chronological order, so that's why I'm doing it. I did the same thing to Simpsons a few years back as well, where I just caught up on every Simpsons episode. But Simpsons is a little different in that there's not usually a cohesive story that's tied to it. Whereas King of the Hill, some things do kind of stack on. Like you do
There's
have
a
a
little more
series,
through line.
yeah, like with what's his name? Luann's first boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I forget his name, but he turns into an angel and stuff later
Buckley.
on. Buckley, yeah, and
Buckley's angel.
Yeah, and they have like Buckley references throughout. Like, Buckley died at some point and they have those references, but in The Simpsons, if somebody dies, it's typically not referenced very often at a later point in time that
Yeah, I guess they
character
don't talk
died.
too much about Maud's death. Although there's
Y-
like a few episodes that I think revisit that topic.
Revisit, yeah, but not consistent, right? Like Buckley is referenced like, oh yeah, Khan bought whatever Buckley is, and this Buckley, that Buckley. Like there's a whole story of Luann that's tied to it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I've been enjoying King of the Hill as well on the side. But that's it for me. Yeah. Been an interesting
Uh,
week. So yeah, a little out of it.
yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit in the same bag. No pickups this week. So I had ordered that extra mat or that play mat, and I don't know how it happened. Well, actually, I do know how it happened, but I just didn't check. So the browser that I ordered it through was like the one that I use to send like all my email and stuff that I just spam email stuff, like not my normal email. And I hadn't gone through in Chrome and updated like the default address settings. So when I made my account on this website, it put my old Arizona address as the default mailing address. So I've gotten an Amazon package and that accidentally shipped to my old address. So I'm going to be waiting a couple more weeks for that to come in, for them to get it to my property manager and my property manager to send it up here to me.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, at least you
So
got it, right? So
yeah, it's dumb. And then yeah, I haven't really played anything this week. Let's see. Digimon update. I've got a Devimon, or what's it called? I think it's a Devimon. I don't know. What are your name? Yeah. Oh, Davidramon. I've got a Davidramon right now, and I was trying to go for this like Rust Tyrannomon or something, and I wound up killing one of my dudes and not digivolving him down the right track so that I could do like the fusion one. So starting over with one of them, we'll see if I actually make it this time. I've been thinking about playing Wind Waker all week, but I haven't actually done it. Like I'm gonna have some chill time today before we play D&D later, so maybe I'll boot it up and check it out again then. It's just like, I don't know, it's the perfect summery type game. I love the vibe and the music and the sailing on the boat and everything. So I want to get maybe a little bit of taste of that in my life. One Piece, I am almost there, John. I'm
nice.
4 episodes away from being current.
Was there an
With
episode
the
released
airing.
today?
I don't know. I'm not there. So
Okay.
maybe 5.
Okay. There you go.
So yeah, I'm pretty much there. I'm right at the end. I've seen a lot of the stuff that you guys would have been like, oh my God, like we got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially since there's been like some hiatuses and stuff in there too.
Yeah.
So
How'd
some
you
of this
like
stuff was probably a while ago.
Yeah. How'd you like the Kaido fight?
Oh, I mean, the Kaido fight, that was like a while ago now, but yeah, the Kaido fight was incredible. Yeah, the animation is really like just peaked so hard in so many of these fights and stuff. Like watching Shanks just take on Kid was just like, oh my God. Like I texted you about that. I was like, holy hell.
Obliterates him with like his future. Like I didn't realize that was Shank's power at first. Like
Yeah.
you can see into the future like a certain amount, and he just like absolutely demolishes the Kid Pirates. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Are you at Kuma's story? It doesn't spoil anything. I'm just wondering if you're at the Kuma arc.
Yeah. So Kuma stuff's been going on. So like right now what's happening is Sabo was like recanting everything about like the reverie. And so I watched like King Cobra go into the chamber, and then like Emu is there, and you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And it's just like craziness. So I think that's like right where I left off.
So you're not even on the part where my mouth dropped or my jaw dropped in the. Oh wow! Wait till you get there.
Yeah, probably just like almost there. Man, it was sad seeing Teach beat the shit out of Law.
Yeah.
But he actually got saved, which was good. I was like, after him going after Boa, I was like, oh no, like first Boa, now Law. Like my favorite characters are getting like knocked off here.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait till you get that scene on Egghead Island. That I'm talking. You will know the moment where my jaw dropped. Like when you're watching, you'll know exactly that scene, and you'll be like, all right. So yeah, you'll have to text me, be like, was it this? And then I'm sure you'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah, I'm almost there on that.
I was sorry, just to go around it here. Yeah, I was as I was watching that, my wife was in the kitchen, like doing whatever, and she just hears me go like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Like that's crazy. Oh my god, I can't believe that's happening. So yeah, even she was like, "Huh, what's going on?" I'm like, I can't believe that this is happening. Like I don't. How is this
Okay.
large
Well,
figure here?
okay.
Yeah,
Now I'll have to see what's going on there.
yeah, yeah. I think you got
And
more than
then
5 episodes, man.
no, it was on like I don't know, there's like 11:22 and I was on like 18 or something.
Huh, is it that many?
I think so. Here, I'll pull it up. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing this week.
They're up to
I
1064 right now.
1064.
Yeah. This
Let's see.
was this was as of no, never mind. Oh, hold on. No, I'm an idiot. That's wrong.
No, there's 11:22 and
11:22.
I'm
Yeah.
on 11:19, so I've got 4 more episodes to go.
Ignore me. I was looking at something from 2023 and I
Yeah.
just automatically took it as correct. So, all right, cool. So 11:22.
Yeah, it looks
That
like these next 3 episodes are all going to be
Kuma.
uh no. It's like Garp and
What are you watching on?
Kuzan. Crunchyroll?
Oh, well, I imagine they're up to date cuz I'm watching on Netflix. No, they're up to 11:35, man.
11:35?
Yeah.
How is Crunchyroll not up to date? Oh, maybe it's because this is just the dub.
Oh yeah, might be just. Oh, you're watching dub. I'm watching sub. So, yeah,
Okay, I'll switch back to sub once I get through all the dub
yeah,
catch up.
yeah. You're what 11 what 18 right now. So you
Mm-hmm.
are.
So I got
Yeah,
like another 20 episodes.
yeah. You're close to where my jaw dropped. Close, but not there
Okay.
yet. Yeah, that's why I said Kuma because I thought you're pretty close.
I
But yeah,
mean, there's been some Kuma stuff. Like the Revolutionary Army tried to like reboot him, and then he
eh,
just like took off back to Marie, the Red Wall, and
yeah,
tried
Marie
to
Joie.
climb up to
Yeah,
Marie Joie.
it doesn't. It's not going to spoil anything here. It's just Kuma backstory.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen
it's
some of the Kuma backstory with Bonnie going into like the bear paw and some flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, it basically takes like that flashback and it like blows it up so you get the like from his childhood to current
Oh
state.
my god! So is this freaking like Wano all over again? Like when I I went back and I looked because I was reading Wano at the
Oh,
time
like
and like
that.
looking at how many episodes like Odin's background was, I was like, dang man, I'm glad I
Um,
read that instead of watched it.
I think well no, dude, you're gonna I don't want to spoil anything. It's not
I'll get
as
there.
I will say though, Odin's background is like heartbreaking, dude.
I mean, Odin's background's like a good one, but it's just it was so long. Like I looked at it, it must have been like 30 episodes or something. It
No,
was
it's
just Odin's backstory.
to be fair, it's still ongoing, so I don't know if it's gonna go on much longer and I haven't been reading. But it's maybe 4 or 5 episodes so far, and
Okay.
I had the feeling it's gonna be ending within the next few weeks or
Hmm.
next few episode releases. So I don't think it's gonna be nearly as long as the Odin background, which is good because you're right, that one was long as hell. Luckily, actually, you know what? I was week to week on that one too. So yeah, you're lucky. It was already out at that point.
And then are
Um,
you caught up on like the manga chapter release?
no, that's what I got to catch up on. I'm quite a ways out. I'm not that far out. I'm probably about 30 or so chapters back on the manga release. If
Okay.
you The thing is that I'll read the manga for a bit and then I'll like not watch for a while and then I'll catch up and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I should probably read the manga again." So I'll probably read like 3 or 4 chapters of manga and then by the time I remember to read it again, I catch up with episodes. So I'm just
Mhm.
back where I started, but yeah, I need to read the manga because I'm sure there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But like I did that with the Kaido fight. Like I read all the way through the Kaido fight, probably 15, 20 chapters in advance. So when it actually was on screen and animation, I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, but cool. Well, here on the Game Deflators, we talk a lot more than just video games. We give crappy video game recaps and reviews as well as One Piece. So
Heavy One Piece spoilers.
Yeah, if anybody out there is, yeah.
Listen, if you're haven't even started it, don't even worry about it. You'll forget it. There's like 1,000 things to go through, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't say what
Although
the
it
endings were.
surprisingly does.
Yeah, we did not say what happened with the Kaido fight, other than just Kid getting obliterated. But we don't know if he's dead. It's One Piece. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we were vague and didn't speak well, so it's fine.
Yeah, it all works out. We're talking in One Piece. That's what it is. So, all right, articles that we're reviewing. So, BioWare, that flop of a game is going to finally flop dead in January of 2026. So their servers are going to be turned off. This came from Push Square. I mean, this for me was just more of a, oh crap, Ryan, look, an update on BioWare and their video game that was crap so many years ago. So
Mhm.
yeah, so basically we started talking about Anthem back in 2019 when the reviews first came out. Bad performance in terms of like the game itself was undercooked. Um, Player base was super minimal, just wasn't that great of a game at the time. There was a point in time where EA said, hey, we're going to go, EA and BioWare, hey, we're going to go back into this. We're going to fix it up. We're going to clean it, make sure it's playable. It's great. They just said, you know what? Screw that. That's resources we don't need to use. It's already not doing well. We'll just kind of end it there. So my impression was this game was going to be dead after a couple of years and we'd never remember it again. But yeah, apparently they just now removed it from being able to like get downloaded and have purchases and things like that. And then they're going to get rid of it in January. Like, so you're giving people essentially 6 months as of like today, if they just bought it to play this game. That's kind of ridiculous, to be honest.
I
Like,
mean, nobody would have just bought this game.
You never know. Somebody could have, in a one-off
Yeah,
chance.
but if they did, they weren't paying full price for it.
No, probably not. In fact, I was reading some comments of a guy that said, man, I spent $2 and even that was too much. And now I don't get to play it. So
Yeah.
I didn't look in to see what the current player base is. I imagine it's pretty low, but yeah, so they're shutting down servers in January. I could have sworn it would have happened 2-3 years ago, but here we are. Almost 7 years later. And I can't believe it's even that long. Yeah, 7 years later that they're going to be shutting down the servers finally.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that something like as just not well received and really just roasted. Like it got really bad press when it came out, and it seemed like it could potentially have a future. Obviously it didn't, and it really kind of opened the floodgates for a lot of things that we're seeing now in abundance. Live service money, just kind of like throwing it, trend chasing, and then failing, and either games getting canceled or just not living up to the expectations that were put on them from the higher ups. It just has been a whole generation kind of lost to that trend chasing. And then also, this was a big influence on BioWare specifically, and now that the newest Dragon Age has come out, and that's also received kind of middling to good reviews. A lot of what happened there was the influence of this game, because that was going to be another live service title, and then got rebooted and changed around and retinkered, and it really just came out being somewhere between what the higher ups wanted it to be and what the fans actually want from a Dragon Age. And it just was a pretty big letdown. And I feel like with especially all the recent layoffs, I mean, we don't really have an article this week, but all those Microsoft layoffs happened, and there's been a bunch of change ups and things with that, and some of these big tenured legacy studios that just haven't been able to meet up to those legendary expectations that people have from them from older generations. It's just like, again, long development times, maybe not sticking with their core strategy and fan base, and then just not getting the results that anybody would have hoped for. And it kind of all, I mean, it didn't all start here, but it really feels like this was kind of the turning point in the industry, and when those floodgates kind of like open for all of these problems that we're really seeing now, 6-7 years later.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to a couple of those things that you mentioned, like like Dragon Age also had the compounding issue of they brought in a lot of political aspects too. Not to say it's a major reason, but they brought in what a lot would say is like woke content into the actual game itself, which didn't exactly help in terms of baseline reviews, right? So if it's getting review bombed in your general audience, like, oh, Dragon Age, wait, I don't want to play that stuff, 2 stars or 3 stars, whatever it may be, out of 10, then you start losing people from that too. So I think that doesn't help either when, if you're getting review bombed, not exactly going to be good for your game in general. And I think Anthem was also part of that too. I think Anthem got some review bombs initially as well. So that type of culture isn't helping. And then on the Microsoft side, just for that in particular, I don't remember the name of the games offhand, but one of them was Perfect Dark, the Perfect Dark project they were doing with Rare. I think that got canceled. And then there was another big like RPG style game, that beautiful art that Rare was creating. That was, I want to say, like 10 years in development, and that got canceled as well as part of these layoffs. So, yeah, it's a really crappy time in the industry, and the industry doesn't do itself any favors either at times.
Yeah,
You know,
it's tumultuous for sure, and I mean, especially in today's day and age, where like the amount of money that's at stake to be unsuccessful versus the amount to be gained if you are successful, like that gap has never been wider, and a lot of I don't know, a lot of people would really rather see things kind of brought back down to a healthy middle ground. Like, let's get some, games that don't take 8 years to make and don't cost $500 million and 1,000 people working on them. Like, let's get some of those titles out that are a little bit more satisfying and a little bit more true, to what, some studios are capable of, instead of getting all these demands like, you will make this type of game because we own you, and we're just going to cross our fingers and hope it works out, and if not, everybody's fired.
yeah, I mean, they're playing the metrics game, it seems at times, versus creating good games that people might enjoy, right? Like, oh, well,
Mhm.
our metrics say that like this is the type of game, or surveys state that this is what consumers are wanting. Cool, we'll create that. Comes out half-assed, and it's that meme or whatever with I forget who it is that's shooting the gun at whoever's on the couch. And it's like, oh, why would so and so do this? Like after the fact, I don't remember the name of that one, but um, yeah, I mean that's how the industry is, right? Like, oh, we're gonna kill our own game, and then we're gonna lay a bunch of people off. Well, why would our employees do that? Like, why wouldn't they succeed in creating something that we set them up for failure on?
Mhm.
Um, but even some of those things I question, right? Like, why would you cancel a game that's been in, let's just say, 10 years of development? Like, why not sub that out to a different development team, that smaller group that maybe is like eager to get something done, get them some royalties, pay them out however much base pay to get that game out and done, and then put that out? Or even like a part one, part two. I don't even think people would be upset if you had a game and you got it to a very good point, and like through your roadmap stopped and said, okay, like this is where we're going to release part one of this game. The world's going digital anyways, right? So like, this is the digital game. Hey team, you have 6 months from this point to complete part two or part three,
Yeah,
and just
some
release
games
it
have done
sequentially.
chapter releases.
Yeah, like the Life is Strange comes out in chapter releases, I believe. So,
Mhm.
do chapter based releases if you need to. Like, I understand in games like Anthem, Justice League, we're talking like Gears of War, Halo, you don't really have that type of opportunity to say, hey, we're going to release a campaign, and we're going to release, you could theoretically, you could release a
I mean,
multiplayer
they
version.
tried.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
hasn't been great.
yeah, like, so it's a little different in that aspect, but when you have story based, like story driven games, you could totally do chapter based, and your consumers are going to be pissed. They're actually going to be eager and waiting, and probably give you, you know, if there's positive feedback on the game, they're going to be your biggest supporters, and free marketing, right? To talk
I
more about
mean,
that game, get people interested in part one, which then generates sales for part two,
yeah,
rather
it's
than
it's just
cancel.
kind of all about the scope and how it works, but I feel like most of those higher up studios are pushing for, like, if you're gonna do something chapter based, well, okay, well, what about chapter 3? And now, can this just be a live service title? Can we just keep pumping this out?
I think a good example would be Fantasia Neo Dimension, right? That was released in a two-parter. Part 1 came out several months later, or Part 1 came out several months later, Part 2 came out, and I concluded the game. That's a 50, 60-hour RPG. Could you not do that with a 15-hour open world game? I think you could. I don't think people get pissed for a Part 1, Part 2 on that. As long as the price point is right. Hey, price is $25-$30 for Part 1. Part 2 is going to be $25-$30. It's going to be several months in after release. Like, I don't know. I think people will be okay with that. And then you also have the, now it's complete. Here's the complete edition with anything else, and it's at full cost. So, yeah. It is what it is. It's just gaming, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, moral of the story, buy Anthem. I mean, like, buy Anthem, not like buy Anthem.
Oh, no. The audio, nobody's going to be able to see that, Ryan. No, the audio is just going to be like,
goodbye Anthem, as
there
opposed to purchase Anthem.
So Anthem's a goodbye? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's a goodbye. Buy now.
If you're looking for a high quality disc-based coaster.
They do say buy low, sell high. I don't know where that sell high is going to follow here, but you can definitely buy low right now.
I have a feeling Anthem's going to be loaded in thrift stores across America now. But
yeah,
well, go on.
Speaking of loading, John, PSA, you could lose your Switch games if you don't play them for multiple years. This comes from Joshua Robertson at The Gamer. And this isn't just about your beloved Switch titles, folks. This is going to be everything and anything that is like a card-based type of game. So 3DS, DS, Switch,
nope,
Vita.
Not DS. DS isn't included in that.
3DS?
It's going to be 3DS, Vita, Switch, and Switch 2. And the reason being is that they use an SSD form of, card to flash it on there. And so it's because of the hardware that's building that. As far as I know, DS is not built like that. It should just be 3DS and up.
Okay, so 3DS and future. Yeah, if you don't play your games long enough, they can actually become overwritten and not work anymore. John tested out a game. He said it's probably like 12 years old or something, and it was fine. I mean, this isn't going to be like an absolute rule, but it should be a warning to people that, hey, maybe once a decade, go through and at least just plug in all those games to make sure that in the future you have access to them. But ultimately, the biggest thing that this kind of bears out is what happens to all these complete in-box titles that are like
sealed.
Eventually just gonna be trash. Like if they're sealed copies or even like a graded copy that's like in a box that you're never gonna open again, like at some point, if you leave all these alone long enough, like, is that going to destroy their value, or is it going to like hold some of that value, even though essentially it's fulfilling its same role? Like, honestly, if it's in the sealed box, whether it's playable or not, like it could physically not even really be in there for all you know. But at the end of the day, because it's sealed and everybody agrees that gives it this, prescient value, well, that kind of maybe overrides that. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, so to kind of go, I'm going to get pummeled in the comments, I'm sure, over this for like a lack of knowledge. But reason being for all of this is because it's using an SSD form of, storage, and the game is flashed on there. These pieces of hardware, or I guess piece of hardware technically, have to rewrite themselves for errors continually. And when that happens, there's only so many rewrites that the card gets before it just kind of kaputs and just it's gone. So what they end up needing is a recharge. So if you took an SSD hard drive out of your laptop, for example, and said, I'm going to store a bunch of stuff here and I'm going to cold store it. So cold storage is typically when you put a bunch of stuff on a hard drive, you let it sit, and then when you need to access it, you plug it in and think it's going to be fine, right? That's why we talk about continuous backups, NAS systems, as well as backup hard drives on your computer. Like, that's why I have all this stuff set up, by the way, because if anything happens, and I do have cold storage as well for some of my files. But on an SSD in particular, they usually have a lifespan of about 10 to 20 years where you don't have to power them on and they don't lose that data within that period of time. What they're saying is for 3DS, Switch, and Switch 2, is it's the same concept, but this guy's saying, hey, it's 5 to 10 years. Well, I tested a couple games today that were 12 years in, and they booted up no problem, right? And I can definitively say, yes, it's been 12 years since I played those, because I've lived out in Arizona for 10 years, and I played those games several years prior to that, right? And didn't boot them up again. They've never been touched since then. So that's kind of a background on that. So anything SSD related, you generally need to recharge it, so that way it can continue to boot up in the future. So as far as what I'm going to do, because this is a legit thing, actually, this is bit rot, essentially. Like any SSD type thing you're going to have is going to have a lifespan at some point in time when it sits cold. So I don't have a ton of 3DS games, so it doesn't hurt me to say, all right, cool, I'm going to pop in my 30 or 40 games really quick in a 1 hour time frame, pop it in, recharge it, stick it back in, no issue. The same can be said on Switch, and I don't have any Switch 2, but Switch I have like less than 100 games, so it's not going to take me that long. In terms of the sealed collectors, though, there's a couple ways to look at it, right? You have a pristine copy that's completely sealed, and maybe it's graded. You weren't planning on opening that game anyways. So
Nobody
what different? Yeah, nobody.
It's a baseball card at this point. The fact that it's a video game is irrelevant.
Exactly. That's all. It's not even a video. Like, you're right. Don't even consider it a video game because you're not touching it. Sealed games depends on how people approach it, right? I buy games that are sealed, but I open them up over time. Will at PlayStation Ain't Dead Podcast also,
you were going to bring him up,
purchases sealed games and opens them up on a frequent basis. See what I did there, Will? I helped you out. So no dollar for every day that you don't open a game. So yeah, I mean, there's people like me that they sit around for some time and then you pop them up and you play them down the road. But there are reports, apparently, I've seen comments of people saying, hey, I had this game sealed for 15 years. I finally got around to playing it. It's dead right out the box. So I guess take that as you wish.
Yeah, this is more of a buyer's question than a seller's issue. Honestly,
yeah, I think
at
so
the end
too.
of the day, if you're in control of the product and you're going to be selling it, like, keep it in the state that you think is going to have the value, and let the buyer decide if somebody's going to buy it and keep it in the same condition that you are. It's not going to matter what the inside of the box is.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's like we said, once it's in that sealed state within a case and graded, really doesn't matter at that point if it works or doesn't work, right? So as long as it looks good and looks pretty on a shelf, it's all that it was really developed for anyways, or why it was put in for that grading. So, but I am kind of curious how that's going to work down the road, right? Maybe it does get to a point where that does affect the value. People are going to value having a working title of a game on their shelf more than having like a sealed title that they know for a fact is broken inside.
So the 3DS launched in February of 2011. And the Vita launched in December of 2011. Okay, so both of those consoles are 14 years old now. So anybody who bought like a day one launch title and has it sealed might be on the precipice of those games not functioning. So really, this is kind of like, I don't know if nobody ever thought about this before, or if this has always been a known thing and it just really hasn't been news until now. But this is kind of when this is going to start becoming relevant. Like, you really theoretically shouldn't have encountered these issues prior to now, unless you just got really unlucky.
Well, the SSD component people have known about for a long time. Like, that's been a thing that manufacturers have stated,
just like
to games themselves. Yeah,
for these specific situations.
I personally did not pay any attention to it. I didn't think anything differently of SSD or not. I had known years ago about that because somebody had told me, and in fact, I shared this article with that individual, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going to pass this along." There wasn't even a hesitation of, "Oh, well, this is BS." Like, this person knows like very much into tech and knows exactly what's happening with this. So when I shared that, there wasn't any question of it. So that's how I knew it was a legit issue when I shared it with this one individual. So yeah, I mean, it's news now because I think it is going to be very relevant, and people are starting to see those games dying from a physical standpoint. There are a number of people I've seen say, "Oh, we'll just flash your carts and such through ROMs and then have them on there, and then you own the physical carts, so you should be fine." I don't know the legality of that, so it's not legal advice.
You can flash your own carts off.
I'm not going to advocate for it just openly, but that's what some people are doing, right, to preserve their media so they can still access it down the road. So. Yeah, it is a legit thing. I think it's bit rot is a technical term. So yeah, bit rot and disc rot.
All right. Well, moving on, our inflation deflation challenge today. John, tell them what we got.
We are playing some Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube. So it's developed by Namco and Nintendo SPD Group number 4. Is that the same as like Nintendo Mambo number 5? Is that the same
Could
group?
be.
Could be.
Could be.
Okay.
Lou Bega.
Yeah.
Lou Bega's team.
So it was published by Nintendo, directed by Hideki Tomita. It was released. God, these hyphens are great, by the way. Whenever I pronounce these names, so much better. It was released in August of 2005. It's a sports game. Reception is 7 out of 10. Ryan, I'm going to do your synopsis here. Mario and his friends take to the diamond to play some baseball. I even added to that synopsis. So overall scope of this game, you have several modes. You've got exhibition mode. You have kind of like a pseudo career story mode. We'll go into the story mode really quick. You essentially take your one team, you go through different areas of a map to battle different teams or play against different teams and steal those players to be able to build up your own baseball team throughout the game.
Okay, I only did the exhibition. I didn't actually do like the story mode, and I did some of the mini games.
Yeah,
I figured it would have just been like a seasonal thing and just like been back-to-back games where they're like cutscenes and a map and stuff.
There's just a general map that you go through, and then you just play, like, you go, for example, you can find Yoshi, and Yoshi's got a team that he's fielded, and then there's certain goals that you need to hit to get like X amount of flags. So for Yoshi, there's like 3 flags, and you have to get like a hit or a couple hits and score a run. You have to beat Yoshi, of course. There's face-to-face like rival type matchups, so Yoshi versus Mario when you're at the plate, and it'll say score a run type of thing. And as soon as you win that, you are able to take players from that team and you can put them into your own team. That's your overall goal. Exhibition mode is obviously open exhibition. You pick your players, you build your team, you field it, you have your different maps. When you beat the story mode, you get Bowser's Castle. That's one of the fields as well that you can use. The game itself has, I would say, as far as like a non-traditional baseball game, this is one of my absolute favorites. It reminds me of like Mario Tennis, where you can do like a super hard hit or do a nice hard serve. Like this one is the same concept. You can wind up your bat and hold it and get a nice big swing in there. You have a certain amount of stars that allow you to do those types of swings. You can do check swings, you could do regular swings. Pitching, you can put fire on it. You can have a normal pitch, curveball, sliders, all of that, right?
Change up.
Change ups, yeah, all of that is built in. The actual ability to turn double plays, to get outs, to do diving, like all of that stuff is very fluid. It's a very clean and straightforward baseball game. If you've played a baseball game before on any console, feels very much the same in that respect. There, obviously, when you go traditional, there's a lot more that goes into it. This is more of that fun arcadey style of a game, but it does it very well, in my opinion. I've actually gotten very good at this game, not to brag, but humble brag. I wish you were in town so we could play this game. When I was playing my buddy Javier, who's been on the podcast before, he and I would play this game at his house when we were in high school, and I would demolish that dude. It got to a point where he refused to play me anymore.
Of course. Game. That's how it always ends up.
That's how. Yeah, exactly. He was like, no more. We can't play Mario Baseball. We'll go play NCAA, because he always kicked my ass in that until I got better at it. And then he didn't want to play me in NCAA anymore. I hope he listens to this episode. I know our buddy Chris will listen to it, and he'll be able to say something on that.
He'll back you up in the comments.
Oh yeah, he'll back me up in our group chat that we got. And Chris has been on the podcast too. But yeah, so great game. I really do enjoy this one, and I would say that 7 out of 10. It's probably a little low. I'd probably go 8 to 9 out of 10 but I do like baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't have a whole lot of experience with baseball games. I used to like playing, I don't even know what game it was. There was some baseball game for the Game Gear, and I think that's the only baseball game I've ever owned.
RBI Baseball 3 or something like that.
Could be.
Yeah.
But this was quite fun. I mean, I've played Mario Tennis. I really like Mario Tennis on the N64. That was a childhood game. And we've played the soccer one, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Mario lends himself to baseball pretty well. I mean, baseball is a pretty beloved sport. I mean, of the sports, it's one of my favorites. I know that it's ginormous in Japan and America both. So it's got a lot of mass appeal, so the Mario game playing that makes sense just as much as any other party game or whatever they do. Um, I think that the controls, I'm happy that I did the practice mode because there's a little bit of nuances to some of the things, like selecting which base you're kind of controlling and like how to run runners between bases, how to do like dive catches and how to sprint between bases and things. Like some of that stuff isn't abundantly clear. Like when I just turned on like the challenge or the exhibition match, it didn't really kind of give me any guidance, and I was like just kind of going for it. Some characters I felt like they couldn't do like charge hits and others could. So I'm wondering if there's like more subtle nuances between like some of the main characters and some of the more like supporting type role characters, like the Koopas and the old man Toads and stuff like that. But I did enjoy the match that I played. I won just barely. The the AI and I, like, I think we each got like one run, and then I finally picked up a second run in like the final inning to close it out. But um I was only playing on easy, so I don't know how effective some of the like moves and things are. I feel like in real baseball, it obviously makes sense, like how you change up your pitches and how that, affects the player and where they're trying to protect the plate and take their hits from. But in other ways in a game like this, I feel like if you throw it slow or you throw it fast, I mean, the computer's really just going to hit it every time or miss every time. Like it seems pretty cut and dry on how the computer's going to perform regardless of what you do. So it really doesn't feel like, if you're not playing against somebody else, that you're really, it's not as meaningful. Like I feel like a lot of games like this, sports games, kind of tend to feel a lot less meaningful when you're not really playing against a human opponent.
Yeah, I will say with this game in particular, it is a lot more fun when you play it. That's what one of the reasons that it'd be great that, have you playing it here with me is it is a lot more fun when you play somebody else because you do have that human aspect of they're not anticipating a certain type of pitch. So they might not hit that pitch very well. As a player on a video game, I remember just bring up hobby again. We'd play MVP Baseball 2005 when we were younger, and I would use Zach Greinke, who had the craziest curveball in that game. Like it would go up, and then it looked like a changeup, and it was just brutal. It was like 45 miles per hour, so I'm stupid slow, and he could not hit it. It was the most hilarious thing. We'd go games where I think I pulled a no hitter on him one time in that game when we were playing. It drove him crazy, and if you have like an AI, it's gonna be able to hit that because the AI is built in a way that if it sees that, like you can't use that same pitch throughout the game. I could against Javier, I could use that pitch every single at bat, but I would mix it up with like a fastball here or there to kind of throw him off and then go back to it. You can't do that with AI. It just doesn't work that way. So like protecting the plate and those types of aspects, throwing it outside, getting the curveball in there, the AI, you're right, is on occasion going to hit that. But you might not as an individual. So it is a lot more fun in person, like with two people. But it's still a great game, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, if you and a buddy enjoy playing these types of games and you haven't had this one, just to get into brass tacks, I guess, it's 65 complete in box right now. It peaked at 73.79 March of this year, actually. It is trending down in price a bit. And then a loose copy will run you $50, peaked at 61.26 in July of 2023. That's holding its price point. In my view, if you went halvesies with somebody on this game and you couldn't play it on NSO, I don't know if it's available on NSO, but if you couldn't play this on NSO, I think that's good. Like to split between two people and have like just have a good time with it. Like
Yeah.
it
I
only
I had a
takes.
couple other questions since you had like experience with this game. From what I noticed in what I played, are there like power-ups or any kind of more Mario stuff, or is this really pretty much just straightforward baseball? Because I saw
I
some
didn't.
piranha plants in the outfield, but other than that, there was no like, I mean, there was like the star like hit and like the charge hit, but there was no like you hit a fire flower ball and 4 balls go out and all the fielders have to catch them and they can get you all out in one hit if you try it. Like some of those kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I didn't use any of this go around we were playing, but as far as I remember, yeah, you do have like certain abilities as some of those characters do have. In fact, I can really quickly just double check. Like I
Because
want to
I think that
say,
that would make this game like if it's just a straightforward baseball kind of like I played, that seems a little bit steep. But if it does have kind of like some more, uniqueness to it, and I think really that it kind of stems from the fact that like, yeah, this is
yes, there's
this is a
star pitches, and then
yeah,
there's star swings, and
that's it.
so you have the charge swing. Sub characters pitching, captain star swing. Sub characters use 1 star, captain caliber player. So it's the captains that have the star swings only. So your general characters do not. You do have bunting, of course. You have the charge swings. So yeah, it's the star swings is what you got.
Yeah. So like if you're a baseball person and you just want to play like or a Mario person, like if you want this for the Mario aspect, it's probably worth it. And I mean, it's a little expensive, I guess. Like you said, if you were splitting with somebody, it would be better. But if you just want a baseball game, I mean, you could pick up baseball games for nothing, like from
Yeah.
any year that you want. So, like, there's actually some really heavy competition, I think, for this game because so many more of those baseball games are going to be deeper baseball games with more rewarding gameplay and for a way cheaper price. So I think that this kind of blows that kind of out of the water in the sense that it's just inherently on its face inflated compared to what you can get elsewhere for a way less price.
Yeah, you and I had talked about potentially playing like MLB Slugfest, which should be a little more akin to this. I mean, it's in between, right? It's got the kind of crazy Mario type stuff that you can have happen because of all the like special abilities and the hitting and all that kind of comes with it, right? That's not baseball specific, but then it's a little closer to traditional baseball games. So it's that in between, and those games are cheap and they're fun. Like all of the like blitz hits.
Yeah.
I don't know if NBA has one, but MLB's got Slugfest.
Jams.
So jams, yeah. So is it NBA jams? I don't think
Pretty
I've ever.
sure.
I know you have NBA Jam. No, I don't. Let's
Oh
see.
no.
NBA game like
They had the Street series.
MLB. No, that's different. That's EA. Well, I guess it's probably EA as well, but no, Street's different because you have like there's other Streets games. 20 games like MLB Slugfest. Yeah, no, it's just MLB games. I don't remember. I mean, you have Street, but I don't think was Slugfest made by EA. It's been a bit. No, that's Midway. That did it. I don't think Midway is owned by. I'm just looking really quick. No, Midway's got Warner Bros. Is tied to Midway. So, yeah, no, it's I don't know if NBA has one in particular because Street is an EA big franchise. So Blitz and Hits and Slugfest are all part of that. I don't remember if NBA has one. Somebody will mention it. Not going to do the whole search right now. I don't have it if there is one. So I don't know if soccer has one either.
So yeah, if you look at EA Sports big games,
it's
got NFL Street.
Yeah, that's EA. So if we're talking Midway, who's the one that made like Slugfest and Hits and all of that, that's a different company altogether. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But point being is there are cheaper alternatives out there to baseball games that are not going to be a traditional baseball game. But if you're into Mario and you like the Mario tennis games, Mario Golf, Mario Party, anything that's like crazy Mario antics, that's not your traditional platformer style or just your traditional Mario game. I think this is great. I do agree with you. It is inflated overall. But if it's not on NSO, you can buy the Wii game. There's a Wii version of Mario Baseball.
Mario Sluggers.
Yeah, I think that one's a little cheaper. I don't know what the price point is on that, but there are options out there. There's at least a couple Mario games that do baseball, if that's what you want to lean towards.
I don't think they've done one in a long time. I think that I heard somebody speculating that they thought that would be kind of the next one of those Mario side games just because it hasn't been revisited in so long.
Yeah, I would buy it. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy sports games to begin with. I'm competitive with those types of games. So any of those Mario sports games, I'm always down to buy them and play them. I do enjoy them. So for me, I agree that 65 is a bit inflated, but at the same time, I would be one of those individuals that would openly buy it for $65 if I didn't have it.
Well, and you're a collector. And that's what we're doing. You know, if you're a collector that's trying to get all the things, or you specifically like sports games or whatever, but if you're just, you know, casually like, hey, is this good? I mean, it's good. It's not $50 good, but it's good.
Might have had a different tune if we were playing together, though.
Maybe.
I
still probably not, because that requires you always need a second person to get your money's worth.
Yeah, and you're not a big sports person anyways to begin with.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we'll say it's inflated. This go around. I don't know what we're playing next week, but
something else summary.
Yeah. I mean, are we going based off Arizona summer, or are we going based off like the rest of the world summer?
I don't know, dude. How many games are set in hell? We can play a Doom game. That counts as Arizona summer.
It does. There's actually Arizona Sunshine VR game on PS4, I think.
Yeah, that's like a first-person zombie game.
Yeah, you don't have a PSVR though, so you wouldn't be able to do that one with me.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. Until then, this has been episode 349 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.